All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We're talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers in tonight's video. We've had 24 hours to kind of let yesterday's 9-3 loss to the Buffalo Bills digest. Unfortunately, Russell Wilson and the first team offense just could not get anything going. They just couldn't get anything going. But as we say every season, it doesn't matter what team you're talking about. Jaden Daniels, perfect dot in week 1 of preseason. Caleb Williams, perfect dot in preseason yesterday. Mike White's preseason dot against the Falcons. Like, it's preseason, all right? And as we know, and as we talked about yesterday, this time last year, Kenny Pickett and the first team offense, they went 5 of 5 on touchdown drives. The first team offense for the Pittsburgh Steelers in preseason last year went 5 for 5 with 5 freaking touchdowns. And obviously, Kenny Pickett and the Pittsburgh Steelers, what was it? The 5th worst offense in the NFL, the 4th worst passing offense in the NFL. I read a great article by Jarrett Bailey. Everybody freaks out in the preseason, and he did a great little excerpt here. Let's get through it before we get into the video. Every Steelers fan needs to take the advice of David Lee Murphy. The preseason is peak overreact about nothing time in the NFL season. Like when your crush doesn't text you back within 10 minutes and you immediately assume you did something weird and scared them off, only for minute 11 to arrive and you feel your phone vibrate and everything is fine again. The preseason spawns the most dramatic takes from everyone. And maybe most importantly, the Steelers look solid schematically. There's a lot more play action from under center, a lot more targets over the middle of the field. There's also been a lot of pistol formation included, again, just a more modern, non-vanilla offense and scheme. So it's really important to note, whether it's Russell Wilson or Justin Fields or even Caleb Williams or Jaden Daniels, there's no game plan. Right? There's no game plan. They're not game planning these, all right? But before we get any further into tonight's video, if you guys enjoy it, be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. Steelers fans, you know the drill. If we try and get this video to 100 likes, that would mean the absolute world to me as we try and push for 100K subs, which sounds even crazy to sound out loud with my mouth using words. And obviously, that was a weird way to say that sentence. I feel like Zuckerberg. But it was underwhelming. It was disappointing. It felt like watching the regular season with Kenny Pickett and Matt Canada last year. But once again, even like outside of Kenny Pickett and the Steelers, I remember like Malik Willis having a really good game in preseason, thinking, maybe he's the future Titans quarterback, and it's not second round pick Will Levis. Who are a couple others I'm trying to think of. I had them ready to go in advance for this video. CJ Stroud, I know they're rookies, and we'll get to Russ and Justin in just a second, but CJ Stroud in his first preseason game went like 2 of 4 for 13 yards and an interception. Bryce Young looked really solid at times in preseason last year. I think the Giants looked good. The Baltimore Ravens had that crazy, preseason winning streak, yet when was their last Super Bowl? Not to go at the Ravens here. Actually, you guys probably like that. But it was underwhelming, right? Russell Wilson, or uninspiring maybe is a better way to put it. Russell Wilson was scheduled to play 4 series. The offense went 3 and out on the 3 of those opportunities. He did end up completing 8 of 10 passes, but only 47 yards. And he was sacked 3 times, and he just didn't put up any points. But when you look a little bit deeper into it, and I even want to use an example from Justin Fields, I forget who it was. It might have been Quez Watkins. There was a deep bomb where the receiver was open and the ball placement was just not there. But then you check the all-22 tape and you realize whoever that, of course it's fading me when I'm making this video, but whoever the wide receiver was on that play hesitated when he was making his move, and it obviously disrupted the entire play. The offensive line, whether it was Justin Fields or Russell Wilson, offered pretty much zero freaking help. But it's important to keep in mind that cats like right tackle Broderick Jones, he's playing with a fat freaking brace on his right arm. Russell Wilson and Justin Fields, they pretty much had no time to work through any of their progressions and find anybody if they were even open. I also just want to say, the receivers, whether it was the offensive line or the receivers or the game calling, I don't think anybody was giving any help in that sense to either quarterback, all right? But at the same time, because Russell Wilson was sacked 3 plays, it is a concern, whether it's Russell Wilson or Justin Fields, taking sacks and even just fumbles. I always say it with Justin Fields, like, whether it's on the center or whether it's on Justin Fields, you just can't have these fumbles. Even if it's a 2-yard loss, a 4-yard loss, they're momentum killers. And when the regular season starts, you just can't have any of it. But sacks have been a huge issue for both of these two quarterbacks. Over the last 2 years with the Denver Broncos, and keep in mind that offensive line was not helping them out, Russell Wilson was sacked more than any other quarterback in the league, 100 times in the last 2 years. Coincidentally, Mr. Justin Fields was number 2. And once again, the offensive line wasn't necessarily helping him out there. He took 99 sacks over the last 2 years with the Chicago Bears. He also missed like 4 games this past season. Nobody else took more than 77 in that span. I'm going to take a guess, take a stab at it. It's definitely not Sam Howell because that was only 1 season. But anyways, fumbles, pre-snap penalties, it's really hard to evaluate either of these quarterbacks. And Mike Tomlin said this quote, it's somewhat of an incomplete study because you don't get to see Wilson operate or us establish rhythm or personality when you're not winning possession downs, and we aren't. So opening drive, Calvin Austin, false start, 3rd and 5, right? That led to a sack on 3rd and 10, but that's just momentum killer. Can't be having false start penalties, whether it's preseason, but especially the regular season, even if it's week 1. You need all this solved in preseason and training camp. That's what it is for. So Calvin Austin, false start, 3rd and 5, first drive of the game. Second drive, Russell Wilson, sacked, first down sack, killer, just momentum killer. Fumble, sack, doesn't matter. False start penalty, literally doesn't matter. Delay a game, that'd be the worst one. Any of the 4 things I just mentioned, you have a very difficult way to get a first down. I mean, it's just, imagine getting sacked, even if it's 3 yards on first and 10. I mean, you're just in a really low leverage situation. That led to a punt. On the 3rd drive, Najee Harris had a couple of nice runs. Wilson sacked on 3rd and 8. So I'm not trying to even back up either of these 2 quarterbacks because it just can't happen in the regular season. You know, fumbles, false starts, sacks, it cannot happen. But once again, the Pittsburgh Steelers, I think I actually predicted you guys to win 13 football games after the 3 preseason games that Kenny Pickett and the first team offense went 5 for 5 on touchdowns. So it's like, I'm not going to overreact. I do like that they were doing a lot of play action because that's going to benefit Justin Fields and Russell Wilson. But then, like, you know, read option on 4th and 3 in the red zone to Justin Fields. Not the play there. But I did like Justin Fields' scrambling ability. That was definitely one of the highlights. That was probably the highlight of the entire offense yesterday. It sucks because now we got a week here of overreacting. But it is what it is, man. It's just a preseason football game. So let's take it. Let's deal with this when the regular season starts. It's just not ideal because let's say Russell Wilson's the starter and the Steelers start off 0-2. Well, Justin Fields is right behind him. And whether you think Russ or Justin should be the starter, you go on a 2-game losing streak, you go on a 3-game losing streak, people are going to start to talk and decisions are going to have to be made. So thank you guys for watching. Hit that like button, hit that sub button as always, and let me know your thoughts on the Pittsburgh Steelers yesterday or week 2 of preseason. Peace.